When that April with his sure sote the drocht of marsh hath pierced to the rote, and bathed every vein in switch liquor, of which vertu engendered is the floor. When Zephyrus eke, with his sweete breath, inspired hath in every holt and heath the tendre croppes, and the youngest sonne hath in the ram his halfe coursie ronne, and smale fooles maken melodie, that slepen all the nicht with open ear, so pricketh hem natuur in her courages. Then longen folk to gon on pilgrimages, and palmeres for to seken stronge strondes, to ferne houes, couth in sondry londes. And specially from every sheeres ende of Engeland to Canterbury they wende, the holy blissful martyr for to seke, that him hath holpen when that they were seke. Befell that, in that season on a day, in Southwark at the tabard as he lay ready to wenden on me pilgrimage, to Canterbury with full devout courage, at nicht was coming to that hostelrie, well 29 in a company of sondry folk, be avanturi fall in fellowship, and pilgrims were they alle, that toward Canterbury wolden rede. The chambres and the stables weren weede, and well way weren aised at the beste. And shortly when the sonne was to reste, so had he spoken with him every tune, that he was of her fellowship beknown, and made forward early for to reise, to tak oor away there as he you devise. But natheless, wily have temen spasse, ere that he further in this tale passe, may thinketh it according to reason, to tell you all the condition of each of 'em, so as it seemed may, and which they weren, and of what degree, and eke in what array that they were in, and at a knicht then will I first begin.
The general introduction to the Prologue to the Canterbury Tales. The first 14 lines of the Prologue form the general introduction. The introduction may be explained in 4 segments. All throughout, we see the significance of the idea of nature. Segment 1. The prologue starts with a description of the spring season. The sweet showers of April have pierced the drought of March to the roots, and has filled each vein of plants with the sap, so the flowers bloom. പിന്നീടുള്ള ഒരു reference the Zephyr or the west wind. In Greek mythology, Zephyr is the god of the west wind. So the west wind, with its sweet breath, has enlivened the tender plants in every wood and field. The sun has completed the first half in the first zodiac segment, the ram. The zodiac cycle begins with spring. Little birds who sleep in the night with their eyes open make music because nature is prompting them to be so. ഇവിടെ ഈ ആദ്യത്തെ സെഗ്മെന്റില് നേച്ചർ എന്ന എലമെന്റ് എങ്ങനെയാണ് കാണുന്നത്? We are introduced to a set of natural forces, the rain, the wind, the sun, the birds, which naturally sing in the season. The narrator takes us progressively through the elements of nature. First, there is a mention of the season, the rains, the winds, and the course of the sun. All these are inanimate things. But these inanimate elements impact the plants which have life. From there, the narrator moves to the birds. So the inanimate things, then the plants, Then the active birds, the birds which actively respond through their songs. Please go through the lines here, especially the modern version. We come to segment 2. ഇവിടെ ഒരു പ്രോഗ്രസീവ് ഷിഫ്റ്റ് ഫീൽ ചെയ്യുന്നു. The impact of nature and the season moves from the plants and the birds to human beings. In this second segment, we hear of people naturally selecting the season for pilgrimages. They long to go on pilgrimage. Farmers who are described as professional pilgrims, they go off to far off lands. Farmers എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ആ കാലത്തെ റിലീജിയനുമായിട്ട് ബന്ധപ്പെട്ട ഒരു ഗ്രൂപ്പാണ്. They are not priests. They are not associated perhaps with any official congregations of monks. പാം എന്നുള്ള വാക്കിന് തെങ്ങ്, പന, ഓല ഇതുമൊക്കെ ആയിട്ട് ബന്ധമുണ്ടല്ലോ. And you know, the palm leaves are considered sacred in Christianity. There's the Palm Sunday, and we all must have seen people going to church and carrying back palm leaves, which they preserve at least for 1 year. So these farmers, they go to distant lands and they bring back, when they come back, they'll be having palm leaves, which they say they have got it from these pilgrim spots outside England. So that is a sign, a mark of their pilgrimage. And there is a tendency to use this as a business of religion. So they go seeking out strange strands to distant shrines in sundry lands. And what happens in England? It is just natural that people go to Canterbury to seek the blessings of the holy and blessed martyr, St. Thomas Becket, who has helped them in their sickness. Moments for your reading. Segment 3. The narrator, till now he was speaking about nature, plants, birds, and then he moves to an objective description about the people going on pilgrimage. But now he identifies himself as the first person, an actual person, by inserting the first person, I, in the second line here, line 20. He relates how he met a group of pilgrims while staying at the Tabard Inn in Sadak. He emphasizes that this group, which he met by accident, was itself formed quite by chance. It is not a group that has come out, that has moved out from any particular church or place. And then he shifts to the first person plural, referring to the pilgrims as we. He becomes part of them. The last line here, and well we there were eased. So this indicates the spirit of the people of those times, to join together, crossing barriers of society and economy. We have an assorted group in the prologue and a mixed basket of tales that we read in the Canterbury Tales. All these stand to prove the spirit of the times. Segment 3 introduces us to a very natural situation. Nothing was pre-planned. The narrator is in the Tabard Inn at Sadak, ready to be on pilgrimage. There comes to the inn a group of pilgrims who are of different positions but happen to be together. And the inn was a natural place for them to rest. It had good rooms and stables, and the guests were made happy and comfortable in the best possible way. Go through the lines, please. Segment 4. Here we see the narrator moving about and entering into a fellowship with everyone. എല്ലാവരോടും സംസാരിച്ച് എല്ലാവരെയും പരിചയപ്പെടും. They jointly decide to move ahead to Canterbury the next day early morning. Before going ahead with the details of the journey, the narrator thinks it proper to describe the state of each pilgrim as he understands them. Who they are, what their position is, and how they are dressed. He starts with a natural description of the night. In segment 4, we see a natural development of fellowship. The pilgrims were already in fellowship with one another, and the narrator is in the same spirit. Of course, this gives him a justification. How can he describe the pilgrims in detail if he had not known them before? So the answer is here. He took time to meet everyone, to talk to them, to understand them well. So he is qualified enough to describe them and present the Canterbury Tales. Maybe encourage you to visit the blog post of CMS College Department of English, where you have an explanation and an analysis of the general introduction. Some questions are given there which will help you in your advanced study on the topic. Thank you.